But y'all gotta see your brothers over here as your brothers. Just like we see y'all as our sisters, right? Don't be confused by the language barrier and that we may have different features. Guess what? I got a niece that looks just like you. My mom looks just like you. Guess what? We're the same people.
That's right.
That's why you always see us in the same condition, in the same areas.
Right.
Where do you always see blacks and Hispanics? In the ghetto. Guess what the ghetto means? You can look it up.
That's an Italian. That was an Italian term.
And guess what? Because we were slaves there. That's where they came up with that term. Ghetto means a place where the Jews dwell.
Yeah, Jews. Yeah.
So, what does that make you? Again, to go with your question, because I'm from LA too, bro. And I know full well what goes on in LA. I have a whole lot of Hispanic friends. And when I was in the world, in that life, a lot of my friends I couldn't hang with when we went to the pen. And that bothered me. And I always wonder why things are going on the way they're going on, right? So it's always been like that amongst us. Us as a people, there's always been a divide. There's always been friction. And the Bible talks about it. Get Isaiah 11 and verse 13. Because when you read the Bible and you read the history, when we were all, who knows about King Solomon?
I do.
Hold on, sisters, y'all gotta hear this.
Solomon's temple and all that.
Exactly. So under Solomon, all of us were in unity, right? And so when it came time for him to die and give his kingdom over to his son created a split amongst the tribes. He caused a division. He wanted to ostracize the Ephraim on down, right? And make Judah, Benjamin, and Levi the top. That caused a split amongst us. And it's been a division ever since. And this is way back in biblical times. So now what? We got to mend that bridge, right? We got to bridge the gap. Read that real quick.
Isaiah 11 and verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart.
So the envy of Ephraim, which is Puerto Ricans, and understand that Ephraim is the head tribe of the northern kingdom. So Ephraim on down, the envy that Ephraim has for us must do what?
Shall depart.
So we got to kill that hatred. It's been perpetuated in LA and all over, right? We got to kill that hatred because we keep looking at each other like, just because you're lighter than me, that we're different. No. You go to Mexico, don't you see people look dark like me? Exactly. So how are we different? But they perpetuate that because of languages and all this and that. No, we're the same people. God says that we're the sand of the sea. Can you count the sand of the sea? And that we were spread it all over. So guess what? We're going to have all kind of looks. Because when you read the Bible, the children of Israel had how many mothers? Because Jacob had many wives. So all of them going to look different a little bit, right? You got someone, I got half brothers. We don't look alike.
Right.
Likewise, his people. So read that again.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
Right.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah.
What?
Ephraim shall not envy Judah.
We shouldn't envy each other. Ephraim shouldn't envy Judah. Judah is the head tribe. Judah on down, right? These three tribes right here. Ephraim shouldn't envy them, right? And the reason they envied is because most of the kings came out of Judah. But that was divine because look, Christ came out of Judah. So that's how it was set up. But they had envy. We can't be like that. Read.
And Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
And just because all the kings came out of Judah, we shouldn't vex Ephraim. We shouldn't vex y'all at all. But you see that going on in LA. And it's perpetuated through what? Gangs.
Yeah.
Gangs.
Wake 'em
But
up.
all these gangs started how? As revolutions at first. Because you had the Brown Berets, you had AIM, you had the Black Panthers.
You even had the Blackstone Rangers in Chicago.
Exactly. So when they introduced drugs into the situation and took out all the leaders, what did that leave the young men? To sell drugs.
Right.
To start gangs.
Right.
And then that envy started back up.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going on in LA. But we got to stop it. It starts with us. Again, I'm from LA. I go out there frequently, and I teach this to my people out there. It's a lot of us that's starting to gather together. But y'all got to see your brothers over here as your brothers. Just like we see y'all as our sisters, right? Don't be confused by the language barrier and that we may have different features. Guess what? I got a niece that looks just like you. My mom looks just like you. Guess what? We're the same people.
That's right.
That's why you always see us in the same condition, in the same areas.
Right.
Where do you always see blacks and Hispanics?
In the ghetto.
In the ghetto. Guess what the ghetto means? You can look it up.
That's some Italian. That was some Italian term.
And guess what? Because we were slaves there. That's where they came up with that term. Ghetto means a place where the Jews dwell.
Yeah, Jews. Yeah.
So, what does that make you?
The slums first started with the Jews and Italians and stuff.
What's your name, sis? Kate?
Katie.
Katie. So you are in the ghetto. What does that make you now? You're a Jew.
That's right.
You're an Israelite. That's what that means.
Right.
That's what that means. You're a Jew. She's a Jew. He's a Jew. The real Jews.
That's right.
Get
So with these fake Jews though.
where's that at? Speckled Bird.
Jeremiah
Jeremiah 12 and 9. It shows you. Because again, I made mention that Jacob had 4 wives, right? They all looked different, but they were all the same people. Read that.
Jeremiah 12 and verse 9. Mine heritage unto me as a speckled bird.
So God says his heritage, which is us, his people, are like a speckled bird. Who knows what a speckled bird looks like?
Bring it out.
Bird with spots on it?
A bird with spots on it does. Now, every single bird in that species look exactly alike,
Nah.
but they're the same species, right? Likewise, us. We're going to look different, but we're the same people. Guess what? We've been through captivity after captivity after captivity. Guess what was going on in these captivities? Katie? Huh?
She said killing.
Killings. What else? Because a lot of us, we rebelled. We weren't just going easy.
Yeah, we was rebellious.
We're not just going like that.
Gullah War.
So what was they doing? They was killing men and doing what to the women?
Seminoles.
Raping women. Having babies. That's why they took, they took Northern Kingdom first into slavery. When we was over here, they took Northern Kingdom first. So y'all had 200 years of indoctrination before we got dragged over here because we were still in the homeland, still fighting.
Right.
But then we lost it. Once we lost, they dragged us all the way over here, and then they introduced you. Oh, yeah, y'all different. No, we're not. We're the same people. Because how the hell are y'all thinking that your native language is Spanish when you got archaeology with Hebrew written on it?
Right.
The 10 Commandments was written right here. So how are we different? That's indoctrination. They forced you to believe. They forced us to believe that stuff. We all understood that our Messiah wasn't white. Because look, think about it. You're so-called Mexican, right? What does that word mean? I ask this all the time when I'm out. I ask, all right, you're Mexican, what does that mean? Because my people come from Jamaica, right? Jamaica means land of wood and water. How's that my race? That don't even make sense. So when you go to the Mexicans, right? You ask them what does Mexican mean, they don't know. It derives from the word Messi, Aztec word Messi, which translates to people of the Messiah. So how do they know about the people of the Messiah?
Yes.
How do they know about the Messiah if they're a whole different race? They knew who they were. That's why they spoke Hebrew, a dialect of Hebrew. Why do you think when Montezuma seen the conquistadors coming, he tried to fast and pray, but it was already too late because the Lord said he's going to send them from afar. We just read that earlier. He's going to send them from afar for all the sins that were committed. Because what was they doing in Mexico? We had pyramids. How do they know how to build pyramids?
Right. Pyramids everywhere.
they had to be over there to learn that skill.
Right.
Right? That's why we was building pyramids, but guess what? We started to do human sacrifice. It went from animal sacrifice to human sacrifice. So the Lord said, look, I'm sending the enemy over. Right? But our people still knew who they were, but they was just in the midst of sin. Just like with us, understand, they teach us in history what? That the first slaves came from where?
Africa.
Africa, right? They don't teach you that the real first transatlantic slave trade started in Spain.
Right.
Read the book. Othello. He was a Spaniard ruler. A Moor. All Moor means is black.
Yeah, Moor means.
They overturned the Moors in Spain took them from Spain, took them down to Portugal, then sent them to the Americas. Because they was trying to forcibly convert our people into Christianity. We weren't doing that.
Was the Moors like Islamic though?
No. Some of them accepted Islam so they won't get put into slavery.
Right.
You either accept Christianity or Islam. Most of our people say, I'm not accepting none of that. I'm an Israelite. All right, you don't want to accept it? Throw their ass in slavery. That's what was going on during 1492. All the things, the Renaissance, that's what was going on.
Right.
They took the first, exactly.
Yeah.
That was first.
Yeah.
That happened for 1,000 years. Mecca was a slave port.
Yeah.
So when you read about slavery in the transatlantic slave trade, the first batch of slaves came from Spain. The last group of slaves came from Russia. What does that tell you? We were spread it all over. We was ruling all over. Dark Ages. Read it up.
Right.
Look it up.
Dark
The
Ages,
Dark
yeah.
Ages is, they call it Dark Ages because we ruled Europe
Even,
and Asia for 1,000 years.
That's right. And the Black Vikings and
You
all
can read
that.
about the Russian icons.
Even the samurais and all
But
that.
understand, we were wicked when we was in those times. That's why we got took it over. That's why we lost our rulership.
Right.
Being wicked. Same way on this side of the world, being wicked. That's why when you read Deuteronomy 28, verse 49 again. Read that again.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Right, because that applies to us as well. The so-called blacks as well. They were coming from Spain, going all the way to deeper into Europe, grabbing us. Grabbing us. Because of what? Our disobedience. Sin.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.